I feel like it's payoff time. WrestleMania just happened. I am Eric Emanuel. I used to be 500 pounds. I would be dead if I didn't make major changes in life. And I'm no longer going to apologize for who I am because here's the fact I am an enigma. I am, deep down, one badass son of a. And I don't say that. I don't say that anymore with delusions of grandeur. I don't say that with ambitions of insanity. I say that because I am here to help. But help no longer looks like lecturing. Help doesn't look like what the payoff always was, because those that don't know, I wrote Wrestling Isn't Wrestling Part 2. This came at a time in 2015 and 2016 when Max Landis got canceled. Max Landis, if you don't know, comes from Hollywood, comes from a rich family. He literally comes from kind of situations like we see in Hollywood right now, people getting opportunities. Max got canceled, and I wrote Wrestling Isn't Wrestling Part 2, where I said Triple H and Paul Heyman and CM Punk, they'd all work out a thing, and then eventually he'd come back and he'd be using Punk, and basically everything that happened. And see, 9 years ago, I started a fight with you guys and waste time. At this time, it was literally just, I was starting to lose weight. I was starting to go through changes for myself, and at this point, the truth and the honesty is, as much as we want to go after healthcare in this country, I was over 400 pounds, approaching 500. It was 493 pounds to be exact. And I remember showing up at the hospital. My back was hurting and I was in pain. And I stepped on that scale and I saw the weight. And actually, I stepped on the one scale and they said, actually, we can't get your weight from this one. We need you to come around the corner. And I got on another scale. And it was at that point in time. You don't think about these little things in life, right? You're so wrapped up. We're making content. We're making videos. This is when we are streaming and I'm connecting with people. And when all this is going on, and I'm at my peak on YouTube, and that falls off, and I come home and I'm losing weight, the only thing that's happening is I'm following orders. Hey man, you're big, eat 1,500 calories. Hey, you're big, you should walk, and you should do exercise. But what nobody ever tells you is that advice is not personalized. That advice, just like me trying to tell you as a wrestling fan, hey, here's the entire script and storyline. Here's what's going to happen. I know you're upset right now that like what their WWE's doing, it's not going to pay off. And instead of just connecting with you and to get you out of your phase when you were bummed and to just make entertaining content, I doubled down and I took out a whiteboard and I'm like, actually, here's Kane. Here's exactly why it's going to pay off. And you should just shut the hell up and be happy with it. That was the kind of content I evolved from. I went away from my path of just sitting down, making content, connecting with you guys, and instead I tried to do the lecturing crap. Who was I to lecture? And then I did series like Detubified, and I started to show people my honesty and what I was going through as I lost over 100 pounds. And in fact, some people in life who, you have people that want your help, you have people that use you, you have people that come into your life like a wrecking ball and become the best thing about it, then just leave out of nowhere. You have people that wiggle their way into your life and take all your resources, your time, your effort, your money. They can just distract you with things like pizza, and you can basically give up all your life goals for other people, but you also are giving up your own life goals. You're not realizing your potential because deep down, you're a storyteller. That's who you are. You've told everybody you're a storyteller. When you first started YouTube, you literally wanted to make documentaries, and you wanted to make, and I kid you not, in 2007, my first documentary was going to be to tell you, to lecture you, Walmart, why capitalism is good. And I was going to make the case before our town's mega Walmart opened up, which is the second biggest Walmart in town, why it was great, and it was great to put out local family businesses out of business. Because I didn't care about the people. I didn't think about the long-term economic factors, the people that I have to see every day when I go to the store, people that I deliver their packages to from Amazon. Those people that their daily lives are affected, that when taxes go up, that when a new politician comes in and affects their life, when things happen and they just need somebody there for them. And instead it just becomes bickering and fighting. And I wasn't that. I was a person who would lecture. So then when I went to lose weight, I started to go into every diet and every fad and every trend and the gut punches. When you go into a gym with somebody who may be weak-minded and ended up signing up for a year's gym trainer program, and then they get caught into this bill they can't get out of because they're weak. Or maybe they're not weak, maybe they're just gullible, maybe they just want change, maybe they're trying to make lifelong, lasting change. But it's in that gym that has a poster that says, eat 500 calories less a day, 3,500 by the end of the week, you're going to lose 1 pound of fat. Well, nobody told me that at 500 pounds, the simple fact is when you go and crap on RFK health and nutrition experts, when you go and attack them and say, let me eat what I want, and why can't food stamps buy this, and why can't, shut the hell up. My entire life, people defended him as, oh, he's just big boned, he's this. Shut the hell up. You weren't in the room. Stop defending your family members. Stop defending yourself when you know you're doing wrong. Stand up to yourself. Because when I'm finally doing that, I'm sitting down and I'm finally telling stories. I'm finally doing what I've always wanted to do, which is to be a director, to be a filmmaker, to literally write my layouts, to write my scripts. I am coming back with a vengeance, and I'm going to tell some of the best stories. Room 302, which is a nod to FBI and record keeping, is my legacy. It is everything I've worked so hard in YouTube. I've got to be there on the ground floor of some of the biggest YouTubers. I've got to help them. I've got to see their mental shift. I've got to see how they chased money. I've got to see how some people turn into rats when the cards are down and they got to put food on the table, the things they'll do, the slimy, shady deals they're willing to take, the things they're willing to do to screw over their audience. I've got it all documented. Hell, I've got a can of over 10 plus year footage of some may be illegal activity in hotel rooms. Some may be, as a storyteller, there are things you get to do. But what I promise you, as somebody on this journey, somebody that's going to watch this and go, I'm watching this and I don't even know what you're talking about. Exactly. Because thanks to people like Robert Rodriguez and Joe Rogan, who just have conversations with people, I got to see how I best write stories. I got to see the best patterns for me. I got to see what makes me focus, what makes me follow through. And through some of the hardest weeks of my life, it comes back to food and nutrition. When the cards are down, when you think you're getting kicked out, when you're homeless, when you have to go at it and get through life, and you hear with friends, the coworkers that are homeless, that are living out of motels, that have stayed at gospel missions, who have stayed at places and their food is bad and their nutrition's bad, and your father was stranded in low-income housing and he did everything right, and the only thing he did wrong was eating the food they provided, the exact food that went against the macros, nutrition, carbs, sugar, everything that RFK is trying to ban. And then you have to deal with people all day long on Facebook saying, how dare they try to take away my food? I want to eat 3,000 calories a day and no protein and feel anxiety and depression. And for those people, I'm right alongside you. You get one life, you get to make the most of it. But for those people that go, there's got to be more to this life. There's got to be more than just sitting around feeling tired all the time. There's got to be a way that if this loser from the internet that almost got up to 500 pounds, that got over 500 pounds, because we all know how it went. I was 493, but then the next 2 weeks I went and ate Wendy's twice a day. I went and piled it on. I know I went over 500 pounds, but context is key. My biggest weight is in fact 493. I can't lie to you, even if I end up putting it on a book cover. But what I can tell you is I got pushed through the hardest things in the last year. And what I can tell you is it made me realize who I am. My name is Eric. I am a storyteller. I am a visionary. I am a director. I am somebody you will see tell stories. I've got to make cinematic masterpieces with the legs of Grimm's Toy Show. I've got to see my work be put up on some of the biggest channels. And here's the thing. I'm going to hopefully work with some of the biggest content creators I used to, and I'm going to tell their story. But here's the thing. I get Final Cut. And when I make that content, it's going to go on their channel. They don't get to hide. They don't get to lie in secrecy. When I make content for a creator, it is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Because deep down, all I do is care about people. That's who Eric Emanuel is. That's who the guy who went back to church over a year and a half ago, who now makes it a priority every Sunday after he just got kicked out and was going to be homeless, and he still showed up on Sunday. But for the friends, my best friends that mock religion and don't want to go to church, okay, great, I'm not going to waste my time lecturing you on why it helps. I'm just going to keep going, because when I go, it helps me. So I hope the stories that come, documentaries that follow, will open people's eyes up to the struggles of being a content creator, a father, a person, a victim, a mother, a parent. There are so many stories I'm going to tell. From top of the chain on YouTube to disgraced at the bottom. I am Eric Emanuel, and everyone has a payoff. And I can't wait to tell it. We'll see you soon.